What is going down, everybody? Welcome back to the station. Welcome back to the channel. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy Ray GQ, and this is the Dynasty Trade Show, episode 31, here to help you Devy and Dynasty better. In this show, this Dynasty Trade Show is, I think it's one of the most useful tools that a Dynasty Fantasy Football manager can utilize, because these trades aren't brought to you by casual fans. We're not putting them in some simulator. These are actual trades brought to you by the people who participate in my Discord community, hardcore Dynasty gamers, talking about Dynasty Fantasy Football 24/7, 365. I got people from Germany, Australia, Brazil, here in the US and Canada and Japan. Just a really, really dope community. And I also want to give a shout out to everybody in the YouTube comments. As I look across different YouTube platforms, different content creators, you know, their pages, you see some pretty nasty stuff. But for the most part here, like everybody that subscribes with me, everybody that rocks with me, they bring positive vibes and the energy in the comments. Even if you don't agree with me, it's always like positive, healthy discourse, and that's what's needed to grow. So I appreciate everybody who watches this channel, everybody who listens to me on the podcast. Like, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate y'all, but we got a lot to get into, so let's go ahead and put our hood up. I'm going to start doing this thing. Just put the hood up. Let's get down and dirty and talk about some of these deals. And for those of y'all who are new, it's your first time checking out the content, when we talk about these trades, I got to make this disclaimer every time. I'm not getting format specific. This is not diving into your actual league settings. If you want that, you got to be a part of the Discord community and somebody will answer your questions. But this is just a wholesale overview of Dynasty players who are being traded for or traded away. And I just kind of give my thoughts and opinions from a very general standpoint. If I like the deal, if I would ask for more, help you identify some of these picks and the values on some of these 2022, 2023, and 2024 rookie draft picks, because that's my thing, man. I follow the prospects. That's what all this was built off of, was prospect evaluations. But we just look at all these trades from a big umbrella, high 10,000 foot view. And then in the comments below, y'all will tell me which trades were shit and which ones were good. Make sure you subscribe to In the Lab. Check out FTN Fantasy. But let's get into the content. So, as always, I start with myself because I like to practice what I preach. I'm not going to tell you to go out there and trade for somebody that I'm not trading for, or trade away somebody that I'm trying to hold on to. So, if I made deals, we always start with stuff that I made. So, let's take a look at this one right here. So, this is a best ball league, and I traded away all my future picks. I don't have a draft pick until 2024. So I traded away Diontae Johnson and Henry Ruggs, which Henry Ruggs in best ball is just like the GOAT because you don't have to worry about starting him. But when he does catch 2 touchdowns, you get him in your lineup. I traded away Diontae Johnson and Henry Ruggs and received Chris Godwin and Travis Etienne. Just a little context about this deal. My team is heavy wide receiver, low at the running back position. So for the simple fact that I have no picks in 2022 or 2023, I've got to try to find some running back talent on the low, and hopefully these players pop in the coming years to kind of make up for some of the draft picks that I do not have. But I'm 4-0 in this league, probably the best team in this league. Yeah, traded away Diontae Johnson and Henry Ruggs, got Chris Godwin and Travis Etienne. This is tiered scoring, so I'm not going to get into all of that. The way that I viewed this deal, Chris Godwin, Diontae Johnson, they're kind of similar, right? They're kind of similar in the fact that Chris Godwin has an older quarterback, right? And we don't know how much longer Tom Brady is going to be in the fold for. And Diontae Johnson has an older quarterback who's a hell of a lot worse than Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger. But Travis Etienne versus Henry Ruggs, if Travis Etienne becomes half of the player that we think he can become, I think this deal looks a lot better for me in the long term. But right now, I lose 2 pieces of production, and I've come around on Henry Ruggs quite a bit. Like, he's a player that I traded for twice today. Traded 2023 second in order to get him in one league, and I traded the same thing to get him in another league. So traded away 2023 second round picks, and I was able to acquire Henry Ruggs. I'm kind of in on Henry Ruggs. I think he's going to be a pretty solid fantasy option, maybe a little volatile, and best ball may be the format that suits him best. But let me know what y'all think about this deal. Trading away Diontae Johnson and Henry Ruggs and acquiring Chris Godwin and Travis Etienne. I think this is a deal that works for both sides, right? If you get Diontae Johnson and Henry Ruggs, you're happy with those 2 very good wide receivers. And I'm like banking and crossing my fingers that Travis Etienne's foot injury heals up and he can become the player that a lot of people thought he could become when Urban Meyer is no longer the head coach of the Jaguars and they get a competent play caller in there. And we'll see how that plays out. Now, the next deal that I made was with a good friend of mine in one of Ryan McDowell's famous kitchen sink leagues. And I went on Twitter today to say that the only wide receivers that I would take over Terry McLaurin right now in Dynasty are Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, and I think DK Metcalf. Those are the 4 receivers that I would take over Terry McLaurin right now in Dynasty, and I mean that. I think he's a top 5 Dynasty wide receiver. He's producing despite subpar quarterback play, inconsistent quarterback play. I think Terry McLaurin is an absolute superstar. So once again, I put my money where my mouth is, and I traded away Jamar Chase, stud wide receiver at the Cincinnati Bengals, and I got Terry McLaurin, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I also traded away a Devy spot. I'm not going to get into that, but basically it's exactly what it sounds like, right? I traded a Devy spot for this individual, my man Scott Connor, Dynasty and Chill. Check out his stuff to acquire some college prospect talent, which those spots are really valuable come Devy draft season. But Jamar Chase, I mean, you know, some people say he's a top 5 Dynasty wide receiver right now. I still don't believe that to be the case. I think he's really good. I think he's really, really good. But I think Terry McLaurin is better. And if you use age as the deciding factor, then yeah, Terry McLaurin turned 26 years old. Jamar Chase is what, 21, 22? So he's got, you know, a 4-year gap on Terry McLaurin. But if McLaurin can come in and be the wide receiver 1, the dominant elite wide receiver that I think he can become, even if I'm getting 5 years of that production and then I start to see a little bit of a decline, I'm fine with it. But I truly believe Terry McLaurin is just a superstar. And once he gets a quarterback, like a legitimate quarterback, I think you're looking at wide receiver 1 potential with Terry McLaurin. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know there's been a lot of discourse about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Stinks. He's not good. I still think he's really good. I think he's a good running back. Kansas City has started to use him over the past couple of weeks. So I'm actually on a Clyde Edwards-Helaire acquisition spree. I want some Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's not going to be a top 5 running back, but in this league, I have no running backs. I need Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Traded for Clyde and Terry McLaurin, gave up Jamar Chase. Let me know what you think about that deal. Those 2 deals that I made. But let's get into some deals that the patrons made. And here we go, Cordarrelle Patterson season. I actually just saw Cordarrelle Patterson go in a best ball league of mine, a patron league. Cordarrelle Patterson was traded straight up for Cortland Sutton. So, yeah. On this one, we have Terrace Marshall being acquired for Cordarrelle Patterson. Right now, Terrace Marshall is the clear-cut wide receiver 4 on Carolina. Told everybody to temper those Terrace Marshall wide receiver 1 in Carolina expectations based off preseason hype. Good player, but it's going to take some time for him to really carve out a role in this offense, and I highly doubt that happens here in 2021. But next year and beyond, we could see him step up to that wide receiver 2 spot, depending on if it's Sam Darnold or if they draft a quarterback, trade for a quarterback. I think trading away Cordarrelle Patterson and receiving Terrace Marshall is a slam dunk. Patterson is going to help you win this season, but after that, who knows what he's going to become. I don't think he's a viable long-term starter at the position. So I love acquiring young talent and getting rid of old players. And Cordarrelle Patterson's been around the block once or twice. So I think that was a good deal, whether it's half-point PPR, standard scoring, doesn't matter. Give me Terrace Marshall over Cordarrelle Patterson. And I have not looked at any of these trades. I just downloaded them, and boom, we're talking about them together for the first time. So, dude, one thing I like about I'm Not Good, this dude is active. This is how you're supposed to play Dynasty. You're always supposed to be active. He's always active, so his trades get featured. He always posts them. They get featured. So, in this one, he acquired Javonte Williams, Rondale Moore, and a 2023 first-round pick for Saquon Barkley, Bobby Woods, Bobby Trees, Robert Wood, let me just say his damn name, Robert Woods, and a 2023 second-rounder. So, Saquon, Robert Woods, 2023 second. He gets Javonte Williams, a 2023 first, and Rondale Moore. You know what I always say. You start with the best player in the deal. The best player in this deal is Saquon Barkley, in my opinion. I don't think many people would argue that, so I already lean to that side. But Javonte Williams, so this I love this. I love these type of moves. Tearing down a position and acquiring young talent. Like if I'm going to move off of I think a lot of people don't understand. I'm in some trade negotiations now with some high-level quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and the way that I dynasty, if I'm going to move off of Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert, which I will do, there's no player for me that is untradeable. I need a tier down, not 8 tiers down, like a tier down. So if I'm going to trade Patrick Mahomes, I want to get back Joe Burrow, right? I want to get Joe Burrow back in a deal. I don't want to go from Patrick Mahomes to Carson Wentz. I'm not doing that. Not doing that. So this case, this individual traded away Saquon Barkley and he tiers down to Javonte Williams, all right? Still like the Saquon side. But Rondale Moore, Robert Woods. If you're asking me right now in Dynasty, which player would I rather have, it would 100% be Rondale Moore. Age, talent, situation. I want Rondale Moore, so I like that. The 2023 first is going to be money. I'm talking Bijan Robinson, Kayshon Boutte, Raheem Jarrett, Zach Evans. I mean, this class is loaded. Jahmyr Gibbs. This is a phenomenal rookie draft class. And we didn't even talk about, Bryce Young and whatever players from 2022 are going to return. I want the youth. I want Javonte Williams, Rondale Moore in the 2023 first. I think that is the side that won this deal, even though Trey B23 probably feels pretty damn good. They got a 2023 second out of this, and Saquon Barkley and Robert Woods. And I don't really care about the coach speak. Sean McVay saying he's going to get him more involved. Well, I'll believe it when I see it. But I mean, Robert Woods is still a talented wide receiver who's got a lot of tread left on the tire. I think this was a good move for a team that maybe wants to go for it, win now, Saquon and Robert Woods. But, man, if I can get Javonte Williams, Rondale Moore in the 2023 first, I would take it. Tier down, every position, I guess, but then you acquire that 2023 first. Very nice, very nice. Well done, well done. Here goes another deal. All right, so let's check this one out. Chase Edmonds, Chase Claypool in the 2023 second for A.J. Dillon, a 2022 first, and a 2022 third. So 2022 first, a third in the same year, and A.J. Dillon, who I'm not a fan of. I know he got a lot of work. Yeah, I'm not a fan. For Claypool, Edmonds, and the 2023 second, I think I like the Claypool-Edmonds side of this deal. You've got a very talented young wide receiver on an anemic offense right now who's due for a quarterback upgrade, and a running back where, I think Chase Edmonds and A.J. Dillon are probably around the same tier, and if I had to pick one straight up, I want Chase Edmonds over A.J. Dillon. You combine that with a 2023 second, which I think is going to be incredible. The 2022 first is still good as well. I know a lot of people are shitting on the 2022 class. Let me just tell you right now, you want first-rounders in 2022. I think there's some wide receivers that you definitely want, and a couple of running backs possibly as well, and a slew of quarterbacks that you can throw darts on. So I do – that hurts giving that up, but the 2023 second is a nice consolation prize for moving that first. And then getting Chase Claypool and Chase Edmonds, I think that's a good deal right there. I like Edmonds, Claypool in the second. What do y'all think about this one? Maybe a little closer than I'm trying to make it. I don't know. I think this is a landslide. I don't even want to say landslide, but I just favor the top part of this deal a hell of a lot more than A.J. Dillon, a first and a third rounder in 2022, which I really have no interest in third rounders in 2022. All right, here we go. Jerry Jeudy, Bryan Edwards, and Javonte Williams for A.J. Brown and Tony Pollard. A.J. Brown and Tony Pollard, best player in the deal, A.J. Brown. Second best player, Jerry Jeudy. Third best player, Javonte Williams, followed by Tony Pollard. And the ghost of Bryan Edwards, where I just don't think it's going to happen for Bryan Edwards. I like him, but he's fourth in the pecking order, sometimes fifth, behind Waller, Ruggs, Renfro, maybe a running back. Then it's Bryan Edwards. I just don't think it's going to happen for him. Jerry Jeudy dealing with the high ankle sprain, but when he comes back, he looked so good in week one. In the half that he played, he looked phenomenal. We know A.J. Brown is a stud, top 8 dynasty wide receiver. Hearing a lot of things about his knees. I'm a little concerned long-term about A.J. Brown. He's a big man who's already had multiple knee issues. Just be mindful of A.J. Brown. Tony Pollard, dope running back, but clearly the RB2 in that Dallas backfield, as much as fantasy Twitter wants you to believe that Zeke Elliott is done, he is not. But I got to go with the A.J. Brown, Tony Pollard side of this deal. I still think the talent of A.J. Brown wins out on this one. And then Tony Pollard, his ability in that flex role, This one is close, man. I think you got to go A.J. Brown, Tony Pollard, but I don't think getting Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams, and Bryan Edwards is a bad get whatsoever. Take Bryan Edwards out of the equation and Jerry Jeudy and Javonte Williams over A.J. Brown and Tony Pollard. I still think it's close. Then you throw in the prospectus of what Bryan Edwards could become. Maybe that's enough to sway you to go to that side of the deal. This is a tough one, y'all. Jeudy, Edwards, Williams, A.J. Brown, Pollard. It's A.J. Brown, Pollard, right? Gotta be. I love me some Jerry Jeudy, and I love Javonte Williams. Interested to hear what y'all think about this one in the comments. All right, next deal. Okay, we got a lot going on. I see multiple firsts. I see Clyde. I see Patterson. I see Debo. All right. Oh, okay. All right, so we've got Corey Davis and KJ Osborne, plus first rounders in 2022 and 2023, and a second rounder in 2023 being acquired. So 2 firsts, a second in the 2023 class, Corey Davis and KJ Osborne for Cordarrelle Patterson, all right, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Debo Samuel. Clyde, Debo, Patterson, 2 firsts, a second in 2023, Corey Davis and KJ Osborne. Who's the best player in this deal, y'all? Is it that 2023 first? Is it Debo? Is it Clyde? Is it Corey Davis? Oh man. If you're rebuilding, I think you probably could have squeezed out an addition, and I'm not a big proponent of trying to squeeze every drop of juice out of the fruit. Like, sometimes just take the deal, whatever. But maybe if there was a 2022 second involved, like give me the first and second round picks in the next 2 classes, Corey Davis and KJ Osborne, and I'll give you Debo and Clyde, because that's how I'm looking at it. Patterson's going to help you this season, but long term, I don't know how much we can rely on that. I think he is a sell high right now, especially to a contender. I still like Clyde, right? I'm not all the way out on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know I talk a little shit here and there, but I praised him a hell of a lot more than I've doubted him. My issues were Kansas City usage of him, and if they weren't going to change the way that he was used, then the hell, why am I having him? Like, let me try to cash out. I think you have to go. Clyde and Debo are still very young, and to me, those are the best 2 players in this deal. But Corey Davis, those 2 first rounders and a second isn't a bad haul either. I wish he would have just gotten both of those, locked up the first and second in the next 2 classes. I think those are a lot of good darts to throw. Corey Davis is still the alpha in New York, and I don't think that's going to change. I think he's going to be the guy there for the next couple of years. Whereas, is it Debo? Is it Kittle? Is it Ayuk? Clyde? Are they going to give him his 5th-year option as a first-round running back? I doubt it, right? I doubt it. So he's looking for work in the next couple of years, and I think he'll find it. But I think I would lean that side. That's just this one is tough. Again, I have not looked at these until now. This is tough. I think I'd go Clyde, Debo, and Patterson over the 2 first, the second, Corey Davis and KJ Osborne. All right, small deal. I'm not good's back up, and I like the side that he did not get. He traded for T. Higgins and gave away a 2022 first and Darnell Mooney. I'd rather have Mooney in the first. I truly believe with Justin Fields at the helm, Darnell Mooney is going to be Justin Fields' version of Chris Olave, and we saw that last week, 5 for 125, the air yards, downfield, the speed. If you haven't checked out my film breakdown of Darnell Mooney, I posted this back in July, August. I think he's really good. I think he can be a legitimate high-end wide receiver too in fantasy football. So if I have an opportunity to get Darnell Mooney, I'm taking that. And then I'm getting a 2022 first on top of that. I think T is dope. Love T. Higgins, but T. Higgins has to deal with Jamar Chase. T. Higgins has to deal with Tyler Boyd. And I know they can get out of Tyler Boyd's contract after the season. Still Joe Mixon there. I just like Darnell Mooney, and I like the chemistry that he's shown early with Justin Fields. And if I could give anybody listening or watching this any advice, I'd be trying to trade for Darnell Mooney right now. A lot of these second-year wide receivers, Darnell Mooney, Michael Pittman, Jalen Reagor, some of these guys that didn't perform as well as rookies, I think this is an amazing opportunity to acquire some of those guys. Darnell Mooney should have been a buy a long time ago, but I'm definitely in on Darnell Mooney now. I want Darnell in the first over T. Higgins. Yeah, but he normally makes really good deals, and I don't think that was a bad deal. It's just my preference. I want Mooney in the first. J.D. McKissic. So check this out. Savvy, somebody picking up that Washington backfield, and I think both of these guys are startable. J.D. McKissic has shown why he deserves to be on the field because he's a dynamic pass catcher, and in space he's got speed and ability to score from anywhere. J.D. McKissic and Antonio Gibson were acquired for Miles Sanders, A.J. Dillon, and 2 second-round picks in 2022, a second-round pick in 2022 and 2023. 100% J.D. McKissic, Antonio Gibson side of this deal. Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell is a problem for Miles Sanders. Kenneth Gainwell is a problem for Miles Sanders, and he's not going away. If A.J. Dillon, again, I know he had 80-something yards, 15, 16 carries. He just looks pedestrian to me. He's just a big running back who's not really physical. I'm just not in on A.J. Dillon. I've got to see it more to believe it, and if he does prove me wrong, I'll come on here and say my bad. Should have traded for Dillon. But if I have an opportunity to pick up Gibson and McKissic, 2 startable running backs right now, and Antonio Gibson has the potential to be at least at worst a top 12 running back, top 10 running back. I think his upside is capped just a tad bit, a lot of bit with J.D. McKissic there because he's earned that passing down role. He's earned those targets. But I want that side of the deal hands down. I mean, that's easy stuff for me. Give me McKissic. Give me Antonio Gibson. Easy money. All right, so I know you guys are going to see kicker on the screen, but that kicker, this is a Devy league. So replace Sebastian Janikowski with David Bell, the stud wide receiver out of Purdue. So we've got David Bell, Laviska Shenault, and Zach Wilson being acquired for Mac Jones and Javonte Williams. So now we can talk a little quarterback, little super flex. I would rather have Mac Jones and Javonte Williams over David Bell, Laviska Shenault, and Zach Wilson. Listen, I know Shenault had his career game last week, 6 for 99. I still have questions. I have questions about him being the dominant wide receiver. I have questions about Jacksonville. I do think they have a new coach, but how are they going to use Laviska Shenault? I don't know. David Bell, very talented receiver, top 5 wide receiver in the 2022 class. I think I have him ranked 4th or 5th in the class right now, so he should be a first-round pick, if not at least a mid to high second-round pick in the draft next year. And Zach Wilson, we saw him play his best game as a pro, taking down the Titans last week, and he played much better, quarters 2, 3, and 4 than he did to start. And, Zach Wilson just had a hellacious start to his career, but he's turned that around, looks good. Mac Jones, we saw him go head-to-head with the GOAT, Tom Brady, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's not throwing the ball downfield. Who the hell is he supposed to throw to? Nelson Aguilar? They need to just get him some wide receiver help. Get him somebody that can beat coverage and get down the field, and I promise you Mac Jones has no problem throwing the ball downfield because he did that in college. I want Mac Jones, and I want Javonte Williams, who I think Javonte Williams is a potential top 10 running back in Dynasty. You saw that run he had last week. Physical, speed, can catch the ball out of the backfield. I want Mac Jones and Javonte Williams. I do not think getting the 2 wide receivers in Zach Wilson is bad at all. If you get on here and tell me you prefer that side than Mac Jones and Javonte Williams, fine. I think Zach Wilson and Mac Jones are both QB2s in Superflex. Neither of them are QB1s. They're both QB2s. So I'll take the QB2s. Probably not going to turn the ball over. And while we're knocking Mac Jones, in PPR, we should be pretty happy for the pass catchers in New England. If he's throwing a lot of short passes and completing 27 passes a game, I'll take 8-9 receptions a week from my wide receivers. Give me that all day of the week, and hopefully as he grows and matures and learns the game, we get some of those touchdowns. But I want Mac Jones and Javonte Williams over Zach Wilson, Laviska Shenault, and David Bell. Another deal. We got a lot of deals we're going through today. All right, we've got some tight ends getting moved. Got some down tiers at tight ends. This is what I love to see. So we see Jonnu Smith, J.K. Dobbins, and a 2023 third rounder being acquired for Noah Fant and a 2023 first. Best player in the deal is right now Noah Fant and J.K. Dobbins, 2023 first. Maybe the 2023 first is the most valuable asset in this deal. But I know that Raptor1523, my man Adam, has 2 of the most valuable pieces in this deal. 2 of the top 3. Noah Fant in the 2023 first. If this is tight end premium, you you upgrade, right? So at 100100110010011, and that is truly the at on here. Downgraded, down-tiered from Noah Fant to Jonnu Smith like that. Picked up a running back like that move, and also acquired a third rounder in 2023, which is fine. But I know Adam's, pretty damn happy to get that 2023 first and Noah Fant out of this deal. I think I prefer, it's not even a thought. That's the side that I prefer. Give me that side. But I like what the other dynasty manager did by getting J.K. Dobbins, who probably does not help Adam right now, being on IR, going to miss the season. Probably going to start the next season off, a little bit slow, not getting the full workload. Jonnu Smith is not playing like the fourth highest paid tight end in the NFL right now. He's actually been quite a disappointment so far for real NFL purposes and for fantasy. But I get it. You trade a tight end, you need somebody back. I completely understand it. But I'd rather have Noah Fant in the 2023 first over Jonnu, J.K. Dobbins, and the third. And let's get to the last trade of the day. We've got James Robinson and a 2023 first-round pick being acquired for Austin Eckler and Mike Williams, so getting a piece of that Chargers offense. Austin Eckler is the best player in this deal, followed by the 2023 first, and then maybe it's a push between J-Rob and Mike Williams. Oh, man, I was having a conversation with my man Jared Wackerly of Dynasty Nerds today, and we were talking about James Robinson. I'm a big James Robinson fan. Big fan. But Travis Etienne will be back next year. James Robinson will be going into year 3 of his NFL career, and I think like 5-6 years maybe, given health, in a new situation is, what we're getting out of J-Rob. So best case scenario, 4 more years of J-Rob, Austin Eckler, maybe around that same time, and then you get the 2023 first. Man, if I'm win now, I want Austin Eckler, who's like RB2 in PPR right now, and Mike Williams is a top 12 wide receiver in fantasy right now. If I'm in win now mode, that's the side that I want. But I think getting a 2023 first rounder and J-Rob in this deal was incredible. I ask you all, would you trade Austin Eckler for a 2023 first round pick right now? I think maybe 50% of y'all would say, yeah, give me the first. I'll trade Eckler for a 2023 first. Those picks are going to be super valuable here, and literally in like 3 months, they're going to be ridiculously valuable. And then the question is James Robinson versus Mike Williams. Guess it depends on need. If you're stacked at wide receiver and you need a running back, well, you got a starter who's about to get, 60, 70% of the opportunity for the rest of the season. And we'll see how Travis Etienne, and my fingers are crossed because I just traded for him, how his foot injury heals, but he's probably going to be a part of this backfield next season. It's just unfortunate that he's probably going to have a new coach. All of them are. But, man, win now. I want Mike Williams and Austin Eckler. Any kind of rebuild, or I'm not really competitive, I'll look my team in the mirror and we're not going to make it. Give me that first-round pick. That thing is going to yield super positive results, positive dividends here in the coming months. But that's it. Episode 31, Dynasty Trade Show, is a wrap here. If you're listening on In the Lab on FTN Network, subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Engage with the good people below. Thumbs up, like the content, hit the alert button, stay tapped in. I will be back like tomorrow with the rookie report. Let's talk about rookies, and I have another good week of football, man. We're already a quarter of the way through the season. If y'all don't know, if it's your first time hearing me, I do a morning show every morning on the Bets TV YouTube channel, Wake Up with Ray G. You can listen to the podcast, subscribe to it through everything, or follow me on Twitter at RayGQ, and you can watch that. My partner and I, Jordan Richards, talk all sports. We're going to hit on baseball, football, basketball, college football. Have a good time waking up in the morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I appreciate y'all. I'll be back. I'm out. Peace.